And we're live. Wait, we're going live. Hold up.
All
I'll
right,
just.
sweet.
Yo, what up? Welcome to another NBA Mornings with the lads. Today we got a bunch of topics. We're going to be talking about MVP. Going to be talking about Liangelo Ball. We're going to be talking about the Bulls, the Lakers, the Blazers, the Hornets. I feel like we've hit all our topics. So let's start off with the MVP favorites. It's super early on in the year. Not the teams aren't fully set yet, but we're pretty much there. Liam, who are you taking for your favorite for MVP?
Look, I think I said this last season, but I'm taking the man Steph Curry once again. He's already a two-time MVP, never a Finals MVP winner. But I think with the addition of his splash brother Clay coming back, he had a near MVP season last year if it wasn't for the Warriors' poor record. But last year averaged a career high 32 points, 6 assists, close to 6 rebounds. It's a pretty impressive stat line. And I know compared to your Lukas and your Jokic's and these types and your Giannis's, these numbers aren't as incredible. But on the shooting that he does it with, last year 48% field goal shooting, 42 from downtown. He's just an incredible player, and he's just gotten better and better with age. And I think could be a bounce back MVP season for Steph and the Warriors next year.
All right, AP, who do you think is going to be MVP this year?
Man, I'm thinking my boy Trey Young. um, Look, man, his team made the conference finals, and he's only in his third season now.
Hmm.
I mean, that's pretty damn incredible. You look at someone like Steph, who he's compared to. He didn't even do that at the same age. So, I mean, Trey Young took the team on his back. Nice leader for that team. I mean, they only lost to the Bucks by 2 games. So they lost in 6, same as the Suns. So I mean, it can be argued that they're just as good as the Suns were.
Facts,
And
man.
yeah, I mean, Trey Young, bro, he's just a freak. I just don't know what else to say.
Not bad, not bad.
He'll give you 30 and 10.
Do you like Trey Young, Liam? What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I like the Trey Young pick. I think in terms of where Atlanta finish overall is probably the big question for me, because you've obviously got Brooklyn. You'd think they'd be the number one. We know how good the Bucks are in the regular season. They're the reigning champs as well. You got Philly, depending on what they do with Simmons, but Joel Embiid is should have won MVP last year if not for injury. And so they're going to be right up there. The Heat, they've only got better. Chicago have only got better. So the Hawks, and to win MVPs, in seasons gone by, you need to be in that top 4 kind of seedings or even higher even. But if Trey Young, like we've seen what the man can do in terms of his playmaking ability, if he puts up a 30 plus point and 12 plus assists a game, I could see some MVP shouts for sure. But
Yeah, I mean, lucky for him, that's rookie numbers, man.
I'm gonna disagree with that. I reckon Trey Young is he's not gonna win MVP. There's a new rule change coming in where you can't draw fouls by doing non-basketball moves, and we saw last season Trey Young pulling a lot of those dodgy moves to score his points. That's kind of how he kept his inflated points total up. So for me, I'm thinking someone who's won it before. I'm thinking the big man Jokic to win MVP this year.
Wow.
Go back to back,
Mate.
just like all the greats. Because look, you have Jamal Murray coming off injury. You have the Nuggets team. I mean, obviously Michael Porter Jr. is there, my boy. But Michael Porter Jr. still hasn't turned the corner fully yet. He's still a good scorer, but nothing really else. So I'm thinking Jokic takes his team to the number 1 seed over the Jazz this year. Who got number 1 seed last year? But yeah, I'm thinking Jokic. I really like Jokic to repeat again. Who else gets stats like he does, mate? Like he's gonna get probably 25, 12, and 8 or 9. So average near a triple double. And his team's the coaching's too good. They're going to be top 3 seed in the regular season. Don't know about the playoffs though. They're probably too garb. What do you boys think, Matt?
It's a big call. The back to back on the center in a non-center league, I suppose. But I mean, last year, like him and Embiid were probably so close in that 2-horse race. I don't mind the pick, Mike. I don't mind the pick. I think it's difficult to go back to back is all in terms of NBA media narrative and all that stuff. They usually want a new face of the league, and that European, that Slovenian bloke, he's pretty good at basketball.
Yeah, and just to debate the rule change thing. I mean, look, if you look at the 2019-2020 season, Trae Young was shooting. He was almost taking 10 threes a game, and he was making 3.4 or 3.5 a game. And this season, he took a massive slide. He only took 2. He only took like 6 or 5 a game, and he only made 2. So I mean, he was obviously utilizing those fouls, but I mean, I'm thinking he's going back to shooting his threes, what his bread and butter was, to get those points back up.
Yeah, I just don't see Trae Young. He's an undersized point guard. What is he, like 6'1", 6'2"?
I mean, look at Steph though, man.
Yeah, but Steph's next level, mate. Steph has won.
Yeah, I mean, but before he won, you would have been like, he couldn't win, mate.
Yeah, but hindsight's always 2020, and I just don't think Trae Young is quite there yet. Maybe the year after. Maybe if he can get the Hawks to like a number 1 or number 2 seed, then for sure Trae Young will win it. But obviously we haven't mentioned Luka and Giannis and KD, which are probably.
I mean, they won't get it though. That's the thing.
I mean, they
wow.
could.
Wow, AP with the big call.
Yeah, I mean, look, mate. Luka, what's he like? He's just a complainer, bro. That's the only reason he does well in the league. I've never seen him not with a red face complaining to the refs in a single game. And league officials aren't too happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like if you go and you look at Luka, the West is kind of weak right now. So I mean, he could definitely get a top 3 seed, and we all know he's going to average those numbers that Liam said before, 30, 10, and 10 probably.
Yeah.
I think the key is just how's the East going to do? Is there going to be someone who really stands out in the East? Because I'd much rather give the MVP to someone who is number 1 seed in the East than someone who's number 1 seed in the West against, there's no one really in the West that's that insane, other than the Warriors, and then you have like the old man Lakers. So yeah, what do you think? What do you think, Liam?
Look, in terms of a dark horse pick out of the East.
Yeah.
Look, there's no bias here being a Boston fan myself, but I'm thinking Jason Tatum could break out, and he could really, I don't know. Look, the man's been working on his mid range. The Kobe comparisons are real. He's only 23 years old. He went away to the Olympics, came off the bench there, did some nice work. I think he averaged the low 10s, which sounds silly, but in terms of Olympic numbers, it's solid. And look, in terms of like an NBA narrative, if the Celtics are somehow competing next season without making any big acquisitions other than Enes Kanter and the likes, I think Jason Tatum will get all the credit. Mate. He'll get all the credit for what he's done for the team. And similar to that kind of Trae Young pick, I think that Tatum is the man that would carry that team, and I can see him. The Kobe comparisons will start to really come out.
I like the Jason Tatum pick as well. Like Jason Tatum, I mean, Jaylen Brown will be there, but he's coming off injury, which is what kept him out of the last playoffs. And yeah, Celtics haven't really added anyone. They got rid of Kemba, which is probably like addition by subtraction. Yeah, no, because he's garb, man. He's garb. But anyways, yeah, Jason Tatum, like
just bad coaching, mate.
I mean, if the Boston Celtics can be a number 1 or number 2 seed in a conference where you have KD, Kyrie, and Harden on one team, the NBA championship Bucks, and then a bunch of young teams who are like Philly as well, and then Hawks and whoever. If Boston can get the 1 or 2 seed behind Jason Tatum averaging 35, then I don't see why he wouldn't get MVP. I think that's Tatum's 35, and he's gonna average like 9 rebounds. He's actually a rebound machine, low key.
Yeah.
That's a good bet if you want to jump on Tatum rebounds. Almost always money.
Here's the thing, though, mate. The season Kobe averaged 35, mate. He didn't even win MVP, so your data's flawed, man.
I'm just gonna go with Tatum. I trust him. I got his jersey, so I'm a bit biased as well. But yeah, I think that if he can win a couple games with those Celtics, and get to that second seed or the first seed against the crazy competition, I think that voters will look on that very kindly. And
so top 3 seed, top 4 seed, even if he's putting up big numbers, I don't think the Celtics are expected to finish that high. So
yeah, I mean, he's like we can't argue that he's bad, right? He's really good. He's like good. He's good. He's a good two-way player.
Yeah, and he has the mid-range, mate. The mid-range that we love, mate.
Only issue with him is though, like he's either giving you, 30 plus or like sub 20, which is kind of an issue because, I mean, he needs to be consistent, and that's something I've noticed with his game that's lacking. Because, I mean, there's times he'll just be shooting like 3 for like 15 or something. So hopefully he doesn't do that next season.
Yeah, in those games though, I've seen like do you guys remember against the Raptors in the bubble? He was having a bad shooting game, and in the end, he got the game-winning rebound. So Tatum, even though he's not like LeBron or Trae Young, where they're
universe didn't want him to say what he was about to say.
Whoops. What was I gonna say? Yeah, well, pretty much that screwed that part of the vid up. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Tatum's gonna win MVP. It doesn't matter. He does it all. Doesn't get assists like LeBron and Trae Young. That's what I was saying. But he does play pretty tough defense. Maybe not like defensive player of the year level, but still like pretty high level defense, and gets rebounds, which Trae Young can't without getting them handed to him. So yeah, I'm going with I like that Tatum.
Yeah, but
Tatum
how many triple doubles does Trae Young have versus Tatum, man?
I don't know, mate. Tatum's a more earned, mate.
Doesn't matter, mate. Stats don't lie, mate.
Yeah, that's a bit of a left field take. And like, do you want me to throw? I'll throw one more out there if you guys want me. I'll throw one real left field. Russell Westbrook.
Oh my god, what?
The former MVP himself, Mr. Triple Double. I think he can improve on his numbers last year. He had 22, 12, and 11 and a half, which is just silly numbers. And I think LeBron is going to take a bit more of a backseat during the regular season. Look for Westbrook to use those 3-point weapons that the Lakers have, and I think he can average 25, 12, and 12. And lead the Lakers to a top 2 seed.
25, 12, and 12. I mean, I don't know.
With AD and LeBron.
on a team with like those guys, I don't know.
All right, 20, 15, and 10.
My predictions for him are 16, 7, and 7.
I like that. I like that as well. LeBron and Russ are going to cannibalize each other. LeBron's not going to be in the MVP runnings this year. Either that or LeBron's going to make Russ look really bad. And everyone's going to be like, mate, Russ sucks. Because Russ is not going to be able to have the ball because LeBron's going to steal it from him. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, Matt.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's what we...
I'm thinking they choke games to get their stats, man.
I actually, don't mind that.
Yeah.
Him, AD, Russ all try to go for triple doubles.
Yeah, that'd be so great. AD as well. How do we get the triple double?
He'll find a way. Let's just bet on that every single game. If they hit it once, we'll be in mad profits, mate.
We'd be legit millionaires off like 1 cent odds, mate. Off like 1 cent bets, mate.
Yeah. Anyways, that is what we think in relation to the MVP favorites. Tell us who you think is gonna win MVP in the comments, in the chat, and yeah, moving on. So, what was our next topic?
The Bulls.
Was it the Bulls?
Or was it
And
Jello?
we can go to the Bulls,
think it was
Jello.
or we can go to the
Was it?
Hornets.
I
Either
think it
or.
was the Hornets.
Oh, the Hornets.
The
my bad.
Hornets. Yeah, my bad, my bad. Sorry if
Hornets,
anyone
my
is
bad.
watching in the chat, mate. This is a absolute crazy show right now.
Yeah, we just woke up because it's morning, you know.
Yeah, NBA mornings.
Yeah.
So this year the Hornets have they've added a, probably the most important piece in the free agency class, which is Liangelo Ball, and they've made a bunch of off-season moves to try and go from the play-in tournament to the actual playoffs and play in those games of 7. What do you think about the Hornets this off-season? How they've done, and what are your predictions for this season, Liam?
Look, I'm going to make a big call. I'm going to make a big call here. I'm going to say Hornets finished 4th in the East. I know it's ridiculous. It's
Fourth.
ridiculous. LaMelo Ball, the rookie of the year. This young core in Charlotte is building something seriously scary. Yeah? Look, it might not happen this year, and that is a big, outrageous call. But in the draft, they picked up James Bouknight at pick 11, who many have projected, top 5 kind of. He's a great scorer. And I think the pairing with him and LaMelo is going to work wonders. And then pick 19, they picked up Kai Jones, the big 7-footer, super athletic dude. And I think LaMelo's ability to make those full court passes. We've all seen the House of Highlights, LaMelo show. I think him and Kai Jones are going to work beautifully together. Gordon Hayward is kind of getting back to his old self. He had a bit of injury issues again. Terry Rozier is just getting better and better. 20 points. Shooting 40% from 3. And look, and you got LaMelo, his boy, Miles Bridges. We've seen so many oops, and PJ Washington. I think the Hornets are building something seriously special, seriously young core as well. Most of those players I've listed under 21, under 22 kind of thing. And for me, I'm liking the Hornets a lot. I think that the 4 might be a bit of a stretch, but I'm gonna throw it out there. They're gonna surprise a lot this year.
Yes, sir. How about you, AP? Who do you think? What do you think about the Hornets this season?
I mean, yeah, I'm liking what Liam's saying. Look, they were really in playoff contention last season. If it wasn't for Melo breaking his hand or whatever.
Facts.
So
man.
I mean, adding another Ball brother, that's just gonna. If what were their seeding in the 2019 season, by the way?
I think it's 9th or 10th.
9th or 10th. All right, so add Melo, 8th seed ish, or 7th. Add Jello, 6th or 5th seed, mate.
You're crazy, mate. You're crazy. Yeah, I mean, I like the Hornets this season. I don't know. I just feel like the East is super, super tough. Bucks, Nets, Sixers, Hawks are going to be good. Boston.
The Bulls.
The Heat, the Heat, the Bulls. That's your top 8 right there, and then
Hey, don't sleep on the Cavs either.
the garbage
That's all I'm
Cavs, mate. I'm gonna sleep on the Cavs all night, mate. The Cavs, not gonna count them, but you have this really stacked Eastern Conference, and then you got the Hornets, who are their average age is probably like 22, 21, 22. They're like super young. But I do really like them. They did get rid of Devonte Graham, who was like probably their second biggest playmaker, ball handler, and I don't know how that's gonna affect the team. Chemistry wise, he's been there for like a couple of years. Obviously, this second round pick,
true.
and so yeah, I don't know how that's gonna affect the chem. Obviously, this is LaMelo Ball's team now. They do have a bunch of good pieces. They have the Martin twins. They have PJ Washington and Bridges. And I think that their front court is lacking as well. Don't really have any crazy power forwards or centers who are going to make a big difference. They drafted James Bouknight, I believe, and they got Liangelo Ball as well, who is Liangelo's a freak. He's going to make any team better, but
I mean, he's a pretty good defender, unlike Dante, don't forget.
Yeah, but they're so guard heavy now. They're so guard heavy. Like, they're so guard and wing heavy. So I'm just worried about that front court. They do have Vernon Carey Jr. from Duke, who was pretty good. He was projected like a top 5 pick before he was just garbage in college. So maybe they're just gonna make him a freak, but I don't know, boys. I'm gonna say they're gonna be a 10th seed this year.
Okay.
10th seed. They're not
Look, Mike, you do put some good points forward there in terms of their front court is lacking. And Kai Jones, as a 20-year-old, you can't really expect him to come out and star in the NBA. But like in terms of they've lost Devontae Graham, as you mentioned. They also lost Malik Monk to the Lakers, but they did pick up Kelly Oubre Jr. And I know he's a career 33% shooter.
Oh my! Is it that?
From
Is that
three,
bad?
From three.
Oh, okay.
So, and they lost Devontae Graham 37.5 and Malik Monk 40%. I'm focusing big on the other 3-point% shooting because it's so important in the NBA at the moment. But I think in terms of James Bouknight really stepping up, and I think Miles Bridges is going to really shine this year. I'm expecting a bit of a breakout year from Miles Bridges, and LaMelo Ball I think is just going to get better and better and better. And he's their franchise player. He's only 19, and I think there's bright things ahead. Maybe the 4th seed was a bit ridiculous. But I'll say the Hornets make playoffs.
Imagine LaMelo Ball becomes MVP favorite, gets into the top 3 seed.
That's a dark horse.
Beats the 1st seed Brooklyn Nets in the playoffs. Goes to the NBA Finals. Liangelo Ball hits the game-winning shot, assisted by Melo. What a dream! That'd be a dream for me, mate.
That'd be nuts.
That'd be sick, mate.
Do we want to talk about Liangelo Ball unless you guys had some final thoughts there on Charlotte?
Nah, I mean I think they're a good team. Maybe in like 3 or 4 years. Maybe not right now. Just the competition's too crazy. Yeah. They have T-Row as well, don't they?
They do. Scary Terry.
So yeah, it's so guard heavy. They probably have like 50 billion guards on their roster. Yeah. Anyways, let us know what you think about the Hornets in the chat or in the comments. Let's talk about Liangelo Ball, mate. Care to introduce us, AP, mate?
Yeah, right, man. So, Hornets acquired Liangelo Ball. Pretty crazy. We wanted to see this. We wanted to see all the brothers in Charlotte, but obviously Lonzo went to the Bulls. But yeah, we'll talk about Liangelo right now.
Yeah, facts, mate. Thoughts on the addition, Liam?
Look, I've seen him play 2 games in the Summer League. He had that debut, 16 points, 16 minutes. I mean, I remember what I was doing when Liangelo debuted. I think it's a pretty infamous moment in league history. He was 5 of 10 from downtown, which is actually pretty impressive to take 10 3-pointers in 16 minutes. But the man is a good 3-point shooter, which is kind of what the Hornets need in losing Malik Monk and Devontae Graham. I think he knows how to play his role. He's not going to try and be this player that he's not. He's a solid defender. In the second game, he had 10 points, 4 of 8 shooting on 20 minutes. So the man is a good shooter, and I think in terms of adding depth to the Hornets bench, I think he makes a lot of sense.
How about you, BP, mate?
What was that? Sorry, I'm just arguing with someone in the chat.
No, just what are your thoughts on Jello?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think he can definitely bring a lot of size to that team. He looks like a chunkier Melo. And after seeing what he did in the Summer League games, he's a really nice shooter, man. And he's definitely someone who can play like a wing position or something like that, which is really, it's always good to have someone who can play the wing for your team, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
Facts,
and he's also a decent defender, so
yeah,
definitely a solid addition to that team. Like, can't fault him at all.
Yeah, I mean, I am worried about the crazy depth at the Hornets. I don't know. I hope he gets a roster spot. I mean, that's the first thing we need to hope for in the beginning. He needs an NBA roster spot. Maybe they'll chuck him in the G League. I don't know. He is only 22, but he's he's always been a score first guy. High school, You know, he led his team in scoring, even with Lonzo and LaMelo on the team. And you know, like he has that aggressive shooters got to shoot mentality. So I think we got to see when he's at his worst, how does he fare? How does he change the game? And I look, I want him to be MVP this year. I want him to be Rookie of the Year, but I'm also realistic. I don't know. Look, I'm hoping that he gets a roster spot. That's the only thing right now. He does play with high IQ. LeVar Ball trains him well. His sons, and Liangelo has the best shot out of all three brothers. It's fast. It looks like the most conventional, and he's probably got the highest 3-point percentage, I'd imagine. I'm not sure though. Obviously, he hasn't played in the NBA, but during high school. So yeah, I reckon they chuck him in the G League, and then after the G League, they send him up to the Hornets to play the second half of the season, and then we get into the play-ins. Liangelo drops 30 in his first play-in tournament game, off 15 minutes of game time. They promote him to the starting unit. This is like 2K my career right now. And then they get into the playoffs. They sweep the Bucks, and then they sweep the Nets. And they're in the NBA Finals. It's a draw. They're playing the Warriors, and Liangelo Ball gets handed the ball last second, hits the game winner. So that's what I'm projecting for this season. I think that's pretty realistic. Start in the G League and then game winner in the NBA Finals.
You're a crazy man, Mike. You're a seriously crazy man. I mean,
That take.
What about it, mate? You got a problem with me,
yeah.
mate?
I mean, I'd like to see it, but mate, let's just say if that were to happen and you were to bet on it, mate, you could put 1 cent on that, and you would be able to retire, mate.
Facts. So that's our thoughts on Liangelo Ball. We have a message here from Matt Foley. Does Dante Exum get a contract?
I mean, he did play well. He did play well in the Olympics. I think a lot of teams will be looking at that. You're performing at an international level. In terms of where does he fit though, he's been injury riddled throughout his whole career. Unfortunately, hasn't really got a good run at it. I think a team could definitely pick him up, and Dante Exum, he's going to want to put in the work. I'm not sure who exactly would need a Dante Exum type player. but I think it's one of those things where you've only got 15 roster spots, so you do have to be pretty selective with who you choose.
He has been really good though. I've seen him. Our good mate Wilco actually tipped a game where I believe one of the Jazz guards or something was out, and Dante Exum came in playing point guard. I think he dropped like 10 assists that game. So obviously he's been riddled with injury his whole career. He hasn't. The only reason he doesn't have a contract right now is because of his injury history. I think he's a pretty good player, good role player, good bench spark. He can shoot decently. Couldn't start on the Australian Olympic team though, but maybe that's why we lost, mate, because we're starting all these old garb guys.
Legit.
Yeah, facts.
Also, they didn't get Dengakuth on the roster. That's no brainer right there. But anyway.
Yeah, I think he does in the middle of the year. Maybe now, but I don't see. Yeah, I agree with Liam. I don't see what team needs him right now. This was a pretty guard heavy draft, so they're probably going to see what they have with these young guards. Anyways, moving on. What's the next topic we're talking about?
We got Chi-Town, I believe.
Chi-Town. All right, AP, mate. Do you want to kick us off, mate?
Oh yeah, the Chicago Bulls had an insane free agency period with the acquisition of Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, and Lonzo Ball. We'll give our takes.
No Kyle Lowry, boys.
Oh, my bad. Oh, man, I'm cooked. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Kyle Lowry to the Heat, my bad.
They're both right.
Restart.
Yeah, restart. Anyway, the Chicago Bulls had a crazy offseason with the acquisition of Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
we'll give you our take on those guys.
Mate,
Oh my God.
you cooked it, mate. You're a freak, mate. Look, I'm thinking Bulls this year. They are in the East. We've been talking about the East all day. I think they're a solid chance for the 7th seed. DeMar DeRozan provides something that the Bulls haven't really had, which is that mid-range, consistent scorer. And DeRozan has also learned how to play a little bit more off-ball as well. At the Spurs, he wasn't in that role that he was in Toronto, where he was like the main guy, the scorer that they'd go to all the time. So I think he's learned to play that different role, and that works really well with Zach LaVine. Who obviously, as we know, scoring freak, mate. And then you have Lonzo Ball, who you can just put into every team and he'll make it better because he's so adaptable. He can be your ball handler every possession, sit in the corner, shooting threes, plays all NBA level defense. I reckon he's going to be all NBA defensive first team. I'm going to call it now.
Wow.
First team.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, obviously the East is really good, so I'm still thinking 7th seed just because their front court sucks. Yeah.
I mean, look, Mike, I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. You got my boy Paddy Dub, Patrick Williams, the 4th pick of last year's third team, all rookie last year.
Third team.
And you got Nikola Vucevic, who's an all-star.
Oh yeah, mate.
Orlando Magic, man. You guys are sleeping on the starting 5 in Chi-Town. They got Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, Nikola Vucevic. That's a very solid starting 5. And I think it took 5 minutes or something for Lonzo to sign.
I think it was 30 seconds.
You're telling me there's no tampering there? I think Chicago might cop a little fine there from that one. But look, I think a 4-year, $85 million deal is an absolute steal for Lonzo Ball. He has the playmaking ability, super solid defender, and his off-ball work is what I like the most about Lonzo. Everyone looks at him as this kind of playmaking defender, but his three-point shot has improved out of sight. He's a 38% three-point shooter, 40% off the catch and shoot. And if you look at Chicago, how they play, a lot of the ball's going to go through Zach LaVine. He's their man. He's who they've built the team around. And if you look at the off-ball work of how Lonzo and DeMar DeRozan are going to work with LaVine, I think Chicago really built a team for Zach. And I think what I like most about this as well is Kobe White and Zach LaVine. They weren't working last year. They signed Vucevic. They thought they were going to make the playoffs. They didn't. Which it's a bit of a failure last year. But now because Kobe White and Zach LaVine are quite similar in the sense that they both need the ball to score well. But now if you're kind of running Kobe White off the bench when Zach is having a rest, I think him and Lonzo work really well together. And I really like Chicago this year. I'm gonna have them, I'll have them the 6th seed, just one above what Mike said, 5th or 6th seed. But I did put Charlotte 4th, which is a bit of a mistake. But I think Chicago definitely. I'm saying top. I'll say 5th. I'll say 5th seed.
5th. I agree with you there, bro. I just love DeRozan so much. With reference to that I Spy song, he's if he shoots it, it goes in. Rhyming DeRozan with goes in because he's a walking bucket. He's averaged 20 for how many years now? And last season he averaged what, like 7 assists? I think we were talking.
Yeah.
So the man's working on his passing ability, which is really good to see. A team that can distribute the ball well is a team to be feared. Don't forget.
Facts, mate. Facts.
It's a good point you raised there, AP. 7 assists a game for your small forward is nothing to be laughed at. Nothing to be laughed at.
Yeah. Do you think he's gonna play small forward? Because obviously he's getting up there in age. Can't really shoot the 3 ball. So I don't know if he's gonna be a wing guy for them. I feel like he'll probably have to play the 2. I don't know how their rotation's gonna line up, but I'm seeing a lot of small ball in the future for the Bulls. I just don't know who their 4 is gonna be. Patrick Williams, I guess.
Patrick Williams, Paddy Dub.
Yeah,
the boy. And we've always got Lowry Marketing. I think just said that he doesn't really want to be there. I don't think, which seems odd. maybe he's wanting to play more. I don't think he's. I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm not sure who the coach was before Chicago's current coach, but really just tried to suffocate Lowry's best asset, which is his 3-point shooting. Or trying to make him into. Look, Larry Markkinen, not sure what Chicago do with him. He was the 4th pick, I believe, from a few years ago, and just hasn't really progressed how they would have liked.
Yeah, and he's lost a lot of his trade value as well. Like I remember his rookie season, he was putting up pretty good numbers, and the last 2 seasons he's somewhat regressed. But I feel like there's still some value there. He's a 6'10", 6'11" guy. Is he 7 foot? Probably like 6'11" guy who can shoot threes. Obviously, his defense isn't great, so I don't know if that's a good fit with Chicago. Because right now, look, they have their scoring sorted. I think that was the same thing as last year as well. They have their scoring sorted. Levine. Now they have DeRozan for that consistent mid-range. They have Vucevic, who's like averages like 20 points a game. But who's defending on this lineup? Hopefully Patrick Williams. Lonzo will bring that defense, but DeRozan defensively, very average. Levine, we know, he's getting better. Not amazing. Same with Vucevic. So I don't know. I feel like that bench unit might need some defense on it. I feel like that's probably going to be the biggest question. Look, I'm gonna go with the Bulls to score over like 120 most games, pretty easily.
Oh,
wow.
They're going to be an offensive powerhouse. Like
they would be, yeah.
You have 4 guys who can average 20 on their team starting.
Because they do have Billy Donovan as their coach, and he's kind of, I think, he was leading those OKC teams when they were chugging along. But he's kind of a defense-first coach, if memory serves me correct. Yeah, I mean, I think he's the right man. I think the Bulls front office should be given a lot of credit as well for kind of building this team around Levine. They obviously let go of Jimmy Butler a few years ago a few years ago now. And kind of people question what was going on there, and that they've really had a revamp in what they're looking at as a franchise. And I think with this current starting 5, what they do in terms of if they can make a move for Lowry for some defense off the bench, I think it could make a solid playoff run.
Here's what I'm thinking, mate. I'm thinking the Bulls trade Lowry Markkinen. They trade Zach LaVine. And they trade Vucevic for Liangelo Ball and LaMelo Ball. Then you get the 3 Ball brothers running Chicago.
No, you don't.
Easy dub, mate. Easy way to get rid of Lowry. Trade Lowry for Liangelo. If it comes to that, that's what I'd do. No, I wouldn't. Who's more garb, though, really? Lowry's been pretty garb.
Yeah, well, it's like your garb versus your unknown. So
I'd go with the unknown,
Yeah, legit. Because it's like, why take the shit when you could take the possible shit?
What a possible freak show. MVP
yeah, exactly. Right.
Goat, mate. Yeah. All right. Matt Foley asked Lowry Markkinen, what happens?
I'm
he's
hearing
out of there.
reports of what we're saying. The Pelicans potentially, or the Hornets potentially. I'm not sure. The Hornets do need a bit of front court.
That should work. Yeah, so Liangelo for Lowry Markkinen. I think that's on the table. Anyways, that's what we think about the Chicago Bulls. Let us know what you guys think in the chat or the comments down below, mate. All right, moving on. What's next? We have the topic of the day for all the Lakers fans, mate. Liam, bring us in.
That's right, Abhishek. I'm looking at you, mate.
We're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers with 8 new additions to the team. The championship winners from 2 seasons ago have completely revamped their team. The King has kind of done what he does, and he's just stripped out what was there, and he's now the longest serving Laker. He's built his team, I suppose. A lot of people will say that. But you now have the big 3 in LeBron, AD, and Russell Westbrook, the MVP. And they've got a very interesting additions in terms of age. AP, how are you seeing the Lakers this year? What's going to happen?
Look, it's just going to be a repeat of last year. They're just going to be injury, and barely make the 8th seed, get swept in the first round.
Oh, Matt Foley is not gonna like that, mate. So, I mean, I believe they fired their strength and conditioning guy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's a
After that
wise
season.
move. But I don't think it's going to help either because you got old. What does old mean, mate? Brittle bones. What do brittle bones mean? Bones that break easy. Well, that's what's going to happen, mate.
Ooh, how about you, Liam? What are you thinking, mate?
Look, I called it earlier. I'm thinking Russell Westbrook is a top 5 point guard in the league. He's a future Hall of Famer. So are AD. So is LeBron. And I think you're adding him to that team. Take
You
a
know
lot
LeBron
of.
is?
You're taking a lot of weight off LeBron during that regular season, so he can prime himself for a playoff run. In terms of other additions that they've made, they've added Carmelo Anthony, of course, him and LeBron, long-time rivals, and now finally joining up together. Melo shot 41% from 3 last year, which was pretty impressive. I think career high for LaMelo. Carmelo. They add Trevor Ariza. They bring Dwight Howard back. They bring in Wayne the Drain Ellington, who's a 42% three-point shooter.
Oh, what a freak, mate.
They bring in Kent Bazemore, who's a 41% three-point shooter.
Mate, you love these numbers, mate. But like, how many attempts are
AP,
they, mate?
listen. Malik Monk, 40% from downtown. Kendrick Nunn, 38% from downtown. The Lakers needed three-point shooters. What have they done? They've gone out and got three-point shooters. You can talk about age all you want. I think the Lakers have 3 of the best players in the league leading their team, and they've just surrounded them with three-point weapons. AD himself is a pretty solid big man in terms of three-point weapons. Just don't let Westbrook shoot the ball. I think the Lakers are well on track to winning the West.
Well, I mean, I think they got one thing right. They got the 3, but they didn't get the D. All right.
Yeah, you love that, don't you, mate?
Yeah.
Look, I think there's just one clip that I need to show that tells us why the Lakers unfortunately won't be a top 3 seed next year, and I'll play right now. Hold up, let me get this going.
Taylor, you want to follow up? Yeah.
And to
So
answer
you're
your
holding the
question,
autobiography.
Hey,
Matt,
we'll play the clip, mate. We'll play the clip. Hold
I don't
on.
know how far you are into the book, but what's your biggest takeaway? So
I'll
far?
tell you when it's done.
I kind of just started a couple days ago, but I've read a lot of notes over the years. It's my first time actually reading this from start to finish. But just a very smart man, very smart man, and basically his words in the 60s. And
Point is, mate, he didn't read that book, mate, and just like he lied about the book, we're lying to ourselves about how good the Lakers are going to be, mate. The Lakers, look, LeBron, he can shoot now, which is great, but Russ can't shoot, mate. He needs the ball. His usage rate is through the roof, mate. And you got LeBron. He needs the ball. AD needs the ball in the post. Who's not, like, there's not enough touches to go around. Russ and LeBron. Russ is like a mini LeBron who needs the ball like 1,000 times more and can't shoot. So,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, and in the playoffs, look, they'll make playoffs. We know that. They're too good not to make playoffs. LeBron has built a pretty good team around them. Like we said, Nunn, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard getting added as well, and then Russell as well. So they have a good team. They have pretty good depth. They're going to make the playoffs, probably 3rd seed, 4th seed. But my worry is obviously that once they get in the playoffs, Russ can't shoot. He's going to be too garb in crunch time, and I don't know if Russ can take that back seat when he needs to during the playoffs and lets someone else run the ball and take that game-winning shot, because we know he's going to want to do that. He's just a competitor. He's going to want to do that. So maybe he'll take that back seat for LeBron, but he couldn't really even do that for KD, which is why KD kind of left to go to Golden State. So that's my 2 cents. They'll make playoffs, but Russ, he's going to be the biggest crutch for them, in my opinion.
I'm thinking the exact opposite, Mike. I think Westbrook is the man that can bring the Lakers back to their former glory from 2 seasons ago. I think that he can work with LeBron. I know a lot of people questioned the move myself when it happened. It seemed a very confusing move to add a mini LeBron. But maybe that's what LeBron's after. He's after the regular season LeBron, so he can step back. He can just take his 30-foot 3-pointers that he likes to take now. And in terms of can LeBron kind of take a backseat maybe? Westbrook's 4 years younger than LeBron, I believe, 4 or 5 years younger. In terms of becoming a better shooter, LeBron has been working on that the past few seasons. In terms of his 3-point field goal percentage has been going up. I don't actually have that one written down, AP. But I think in the way that the Lakers have gone out and acquired these players that are going to be great 3-point shooters. They've added Dwight back, who I think they really missed last year in terms of having Marc Gasol instead of Dwight. I think was a pretty big downgrade for the Lakers. So I think bringing Dwight back is huge. In terms of what happens with Dennis Schroeder, that could definitely change depth and these kinds of things for the Lakers as well. If he chooses to sign that deal and then sign and trade happens, could be big for the Lakers. Or if he leaves in free agency, that could also change things up.
And we did forget about Taylon, Horton, Tucker, as Matt Foley has mentioned. Got that 3-year, $32 million contract, I believe. Don't know if that's overpaid. He's obviously 20. He has shown not only to be defensively pretty decent, but he can play his role, which is probably what LeBron wants. He is also represented by LeBron's agent, so maybe LeBron's getting a little cut of his contract or whatever, but
What?
Don't know about that, mate.
That's some crazy speculation that I 100% agree with.
Yeah, I think they actually have a decent balance of it's definitely leans more towards the older side, with the retiree home memes and all that, but Kendrick Nunn, THT, good young pieces, good young guards who can carry the load down the stretch in the middle of the year when LeBron's maybe taking some rest. Russ is Russ is always going to be fine. Russ is actually really been healthy quite a lot, but me saying this has probably jinxed him, unfortunately. So hopefully not though. But yeah, look, I think it's just whether or not LeBron can turn it up in the playoffs. That's the only question, mate. That's the biggest question, mate. They'll make the playoffs.
When has LeBron not turned it up in the playoffs?
This year, mate. But anyway.
Yeah.
It's probably fair.
Yeah, they were in the play-in tournament, so they probably weren't happy about that. I know LeBron wasn't happy about that. That probably affected them. But yeah, any last thoughts about the Lakers here?
Nah, they just suck.
I'm a call Lakers lose in 6 to the Warriors.
Ooh.
In the Western Conference semifinals. Wow, there you go.
I mean,
Steph.
It'd be pretty cool if the Lakers made the finals and played the Nets. You have Russ versus KD, Kyrie versus LeBron.
That would be good.
James Harden just chilling.
Just playing against AD, I guess.
Yeah, they fucking hate each other as well. Good matchup.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be a crazy matchup. You have East Coast versus West Coast. It doesn't get any bigger, so maybe that's what the NBA is secretly rigging, mate. Lakers versus Nets NBA Finals 2022. If it's true, we're gonna play this clip back, and my conspiracy theory is gonna be proven true. But those are our thoughts on the LA Lakers this season. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Moving on to our final topic, I believe.
Yep. Now we're going to be talking about the Portland Trailblazers. One of my favorite players in the league, Damian Lillard, came up short once again in the playoffs. Well, not Dame himself. The Trailblazers let him down once again. One of the all-time great performances in Game 5 of the Western Conference first round, where I think he had 60, 12 and something like that. Yeah. Incredible. But in terms of what do the Trailblazers do? Do they trade Dame? Do they still try and keep him happy by bringing in these players? What are we saying, Mike? What are we saying?
Look, with the Damian Lillard situation, he's said publicly that he doesn't want to get traded. That is not his preferred route as of yet, but I have a feeling that's him trying to pressure the front office. Dame is undoubtedly one of the best players in the league. If I'm the Blazers, though, I'm going to take what Dame has said and I'm going to use it in my free agency off-season strategy. Like, the Blazers have... I don't know if they've been overrated by us, but they've really underperformed the last 3 years. Everyone's been saying they've got the pieces to get into those NBA finals, which is what Dame really wants. He wants to go down that Giannis route where he stays at his team, takes him to the finals, wins the finals for the hometown team. But like, there's always an excuse every year that pops up of why they didn't go further into the playoffs, and eventually those excuses are going to pile up. Dame is not getting younger. And he's going to want to try and be the guy on the championship-winning team. So if I'm the Blazers, I'm going to have a big, long sit-down with Damian Lillard. I'm going to go through the options, and maybe that involves trading some of their other pieces, trading CJ. Because CJ, some playoffs games, he's been garb, shooting like 4 for 20, Westbrook stats.
Right,
even
without
though
the assists.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm thinking they should try and trade CJ McCollum for Ben Simmons. I know that's not necessarily, doesn't fully make sense quite yet. I mean, Ben Simmons can't shoot threes, and Dame's a ball handler, but hear me out here. The Blazers have tried the offense-only approach. They've tried it. It hasn't worked. They've been a really high-powered offense for years. Hasn't worked. And we all know the saying, defense wins championships. Ben Simmons, Defensive Player of the Year at the 4. You have Covington, who's a decent on-ball defender, pretty good off-ball defender at the 3. I'm sure that they can get someone to slot in at the 2. But just those two together, I think that would change the complexion of the Blazers' defense, and maybe it stop the need for Dame having to score 60 to win a game and to hit 2 overtime buzzer beaters. But that's just my thoughts. How about yours, Liam?
Look, the Trailblazers went out and they fired their coach. They added Chauncey Billups, which was an interesting selection. First-time NBA coach. In terms of what does that do for the roster, I'm not too sure. Chauncey Billups is an interesting selection. He could definitely, maybe that's what they needed. Maybe they needed that coaching change. But could they be also looking at moving Dame, bringing Chauncey Billups to kind of make his new team, which doesn't really make sense when you have probably the best point guard in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But in terms of you don't want him to leave in free agency for nothing. And I'm sure Dame wouldn't want to do that either, in terms of kind of screwing over Portland a little bit. But in terms of Portland's additions this year, they've added Cody Zeller, who's a 10-7 guy, solid defender, plays 20 minutes a game. They've added Tony Snell, who's he's a solid NBA player, 57% from 3 AP. Shout out. And they've picked up Ben McLemore as well.
On
but
that one attempt a game, but anyway, yes.
in terms of Trailblazers making moves that are gonna progress them further in the playoffs, they really haven't done that so far. And due to their lack of cap space, they can't do that either. They're kind of stuck with what they have. So you've got a starting 5 of Dame, CJ, Rocco, Yusuf Nurkic, and you're kind of struggling there to build a strong starting 5 that's going to compete in the West this year. And as is, I can't see the Blazers finishing higher than a 6th or 7th seed at the moment.
How about you, AP?
Tend to agree. I mean, I'm thinking, they need to make Dame happy, but I honestly don't care about Portland at all. I want to see Dame out of there. You know how you said trade CJ for Ben? I reckon they should trade Ben for Lillard, mate, and just get him over to Philly, mate. And then he'll secure him a chip there, and Portland can just be a bum team for a little bit. Tank a season, get a few draft picks, and try recreate another Dame.
Yeah, they do have Anthony Simmons, who is
Yeah.
he's actually a pretty good 3-point shooter. He's had some flashes of potential. Hasn't had that many minutes with Dame and CJ, taking up a lot of those touches at guard. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It all depends on Dame. If he wants to stay, he'll stay. If he doesn't want to stay, then I feel like the Portland Trailblazers will give him the courtesy of at least having some say in where he can go. And right now, I mean, I don't see anyone being able to offer him that great of a trade package beside maybe the 76ers with Ben Simmons in there. Maybe the Warriors, mate. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who else can offer them a trade package for Dame. Literally nothing. Nothing is enough.
Yeah, they suck, bro. Like they got rid of bloody Melo as well, their second best player.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to play the 4 for them. It's Collins, but Collins is coming off injury.
Who's Zach Collins?
Yeah, I believe so.
I mean, you've probably got you probably play Nurkic at center, Robert Covington at the 4, probably like a Norman Powell will probably that's who they acquired. My bad. I've been sleeping. Norman Powell to the Trailblazers. He's a solid player. He'll play the 3. That's an improvement, I'd say.
He's a shot creator, He was that in Toronto. I think they let him take some game-winning shots over Van Vliet and Kyle Lowry because he's just such a baller. But I think that game he was hot where he took that game winner. But anyways, they just have a weird roster, man. Like they're good, but they're not that good. They'll be a 3 or 4 in the West probably.
Wow.
I mean, Warriors, Lakers, Jazz or Nuggets.
Yeah.
Who else is better than them?
Dallas, your number 3 seed.
Oh yeah, Dallas. Yeah, but look, either Dame wins MVP and they get
the
like a
Suns
3rd
as well.
seed, or they're just gonna be garb,
And the Clippers.
Oh, the Clippers.
Oh,
man.
mate, we're fucking idiots. I forgot about the Clippers.
And yeah, I don't know if you heard the Suns as well, mate.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I definitely heard the Suns, mate. But
Mike riding off the Suns.
Yeah, I know,
Suns are garb, mate.
What? Alright.
Nah, they're gonna be all right. We have
Right.
a quick question here from Jalen Brockett. Oh, let's just quickly wrap this one up. That's what we think about the Blazers. Let us know what you think in the comments. Jalen Brockett here, asking us, what do you think about the Lakers squad? Thanks for joining us, mate. Liam, what do you think about the Lakers squad this year, mate?
Look, I mean, we did just kind of touch on it, but I think the Westbrook addition, he's a top 5 point guard in the league. I've said it time and time again. I know you two boys are slandering my boy Russ, but I think the additions that they've made, they needed 3-point shooting. That's what they've done. Kendrick Nunn joined on a great deal. He took a pay cut. He's 26, and it's actually only his third year in the league. Interesting fact for you. And I like the addition of Melo as well. I think that's a bit of a LeBron. Just really wanted him to pair up, and I think LeBron's going to be driven, wanting to win Melo a ring. And I think that big 3 of Westbrook. No, he's got enough. He's got enough. But no, the big 3 of Westbrook, LeBron, and AD. I'm excited. If I'm a Lakers fan, I'm excited.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's optimism for sure. They're definitely better than last year. Getting rid of Kuzma,
Hey.
another addition by subtraction. And getting rid of, I mean, KCP was decent, but he can be pretty garb. I feel like there's some games where he's just absolutely cold, still takes shots, and just garbs it up. So,
It's because LeBron yells at him if he doesn't take the shot.
but now they got shooters, so I mean that is a good thing. Any more questions from the chat before we finish up, boys? Probably not.
Alright, I'll be Shaq, man.
Look,
See you later, bro. Lakers are god, man.
AP's sick. Entitled.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys. Daquan Jones. Oh, I'm not gonna read that comment out, mate. Thanks for the thanks
That
for
was
watching.
you, mate, wasn't it?
Torrey Craig, thoughts on me, mate? Torrey Craig is garbage. He's the reason the Suns lost in the NBA Finals. Couldn't guard Drew Holiday.
Hey, but Torrey Craig won a ring regardless. So
True.
shout out NBA champion Torrey Craig.
Next week we've got a jam-packed episode, so tune in for NBA mornings with the Unanimous Sports Talk boys. Even though we're a nighttime show for Australians, but watch the morning show, boys. Anyways, signing out. That's all from me, Liam, and AP. We'll catch you boys later.
Catch you later, fellas.
Ciao.